Baby mama or daddy, unnecessary drama now. You can ask. You can ask. You can ask. Just ask Ashlee.
What's going on, you guys? It is your girl, Ashlee. And it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ass Tuesday. I'm in a great mood. I hope that you all are too. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to tune in. Make sure you guys are sharing the video, like the video, comment as much as possible. Always, please. Let me know that you're here. Hey, Donita girl. I came back just on time for you because I know you take your lunch break to be with me. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to tune in. As always, big, big, big shout out to Sin Digital Media and Nathan Ivy for partnering with Ask Ashlee and Midday Juice. I see we got some comments coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. But before I get started with that, I want to just know how y'all doing. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? It's cold as hell outside, but it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Hey, is it Naisha? Naisha, Nene? Can we go with Nene? I like giving nicknames because I be on people's names sometimes. But we are going to get into a super dope topic. But before we start, I just want to let you know that today, we are going to try and open up the lines and let you guys call in. Before you guys start calling in right now, let me get through the topic. Let me speak my little piece. But we want you guys to call in. The number is listed below, but it's also 513-873-7134. Kenneth says the topic of open marriage. I was reading with the woman once in that marriage. I think she's just all for herself. That's interesting. Hey, Anthony, what's going on? Again, you guys, please make sure you're sharing the video. The more you share, the more you show me that you care, okay? So do that for me. All right. So let's get into this topic. I'm just flabbergasted. I feel so many different ways about monogamous relationships and polyamorous relationships. And to each his own, you know what I'm saying? Hey, baby, if you can make it work with just one or multiple, then to each his own. But in this particular case, it seems like somebody's having some issues. So let's go ahead and get into the email. All right. Dear Ashlee, I have a problem and I am hoping that you can help me out. I have been married to my wife for a little over a year. We met in college. We were just having fun with each other and then we became friends. Then it got more serious. My wife is a bit of a free spirit. After I asked her to marry me, she told me that she didn't think that she could be with just one man. I won't call her a freak, but her freakier side was definitely a turn on when we first met. Anyway, as a condition to getting married, I told my wife that I would consider an open marriage. At that time, I thought that once we got married, that she would lose interest in the idea. Well, 6 months after we got married, my wife started to bring it up. She is totally okay with me seeing other women sexually. The issue is that she wants to explore her sexuality with other men. She keeps saying that she loves me and only wants to be with me, but wants to explore her sexuality. I know that I had told her that I would be open to it before we got married, but now I have changed my mind and I don't think that I can handle something like that. I'm torn between the promise that I made to her before we got married and how I feel about her now. She feels like I lied to her to get her to marry me, and I feel like I don't want to lose her. If I allow her to explore and she likes it, I feel like it'll make things worse. If I don't allow her to explore, it may become an issue in our marriage. Actually, it already is an issue. I feel like she's being selfish. What can I say to get her to give up on her sexual desires to explore? Whoa, that was a mouthful, child. Okay. So let's take the word selfish off the table here, because the reality is she's really not being selfish. You just changed your mind. You know what I mean? You all had a conversation, hopefully multiple conversations. And within those conversations, you said that you would consider it. You said that you would be open to it. So she's not being selfish. She is sticking to the plan. And you've changed your mind. And let me just first off say this. It's okay that you have changed your mind, because when people grow, growth produces change in your mindset, change in the way that you think, change in your behavior, change in your habits. And honestly, like change and evolving into a different person is something that has to be respected. So I'm not going to sit up here and say you wrong, you know what I mean, for changing, but I do want to make it very clear to you that she's not being selfish because she ain't changed. She's not being selfish because she's sticking to the plan. She's not being selfish because, damn it, you said yes, we can do this. So she's not really being selfish. And I'm not even going to call you selfish either. I'm just going to say you have gone through growth and you have changed, you've evolved, you've discovered more of who it is that you are as a man, what you feel comfortable with and what you don't feel comfortable with. And the problem is that that change has now altered the direction of your relationship. So that's first and foremost. And what I will say, I don't want to see, I'm not going to call you selfish because you've changed. And changing your mind does not make you selfish. What does slightly make you selfish is because you want her to give up on something that she was very open and honest with you about. So that kind of puts you in the selfish boat for just a second. Just stick with me. And it looks like, you know, there are a lot of things about your wife that she was very open with. She was very open. You knew about this freaky side. You talking about, I ain't gonna say she's a freaky side, you know what I mean? But whatever the case may be, she a freak. She a freak and you knew this. And she's a freak and she's a free spirit. And I really feel like she knew who it was that she was before you did. And she was very vulnerable enough to give you that total openness, right? And total responsibility of this is who I am. Please take it or leave it. You want to marry me, but I want you to know all of me. And the reality is you did not quite know who you were before you got married. And now you're in a pickle. I respect her for the honesty, for real. Like, I really do. And a lot of times women are shunned upon when we want to explore our sexuality. We want to see, you know what I mean? Do we like big dicks? Do we like little dicks? Do we like thick dicks? Do we like, do we like, you know, bumping coochies? Like, what do we like? Like, I mean, women go through those things the same way that men do. So it's just something that, you know, you have to really accept the fact that she is who she is. Now, if you cannot accept that, you need to go. Because you're in her way. You're in her way, you're in your way. So if you cannot accept who this woman is and who it is that she's been telling you from day one that she is, you need to go. You need to think and consider whether or not you need to be in a, you know, non-monogamous relationship. And if you can't handle that, then you need to be open and honest and you need to leave. It's not her, it's you. And I am so sorry, baby, to be the one to have to pop that little bubble for you, but it's not her, it's you. You are the one who has changed. You are the one who has discovered who it is that he is at a later time. And because of that, it's okay that you cannot handle it, but you cannot make her feel bad about it. You cannot make her feel less than because you didn't know who you were when she knew who she was. Like, and that's the reality of what it is y'all going through. Now, later on in the show, I read up on a couple things of what are some of the things that you should discuss before getting married. And we're going to go ahead and go into that. But I do want to read some of these comments. And then I do want to go ahead and try to have somebody call in to give me their comment as well. So Zakina says, how is she being selfish when she knew from jump? Oh, what's going on? Mike Drop says, if you can't handle it, then you can't handle it. But if you agree to it, then you got to keep your word or call it quits. You change, not her. Absolutely. If anything, he was being manipulative for agreeing and changing his mind, not knowing he didn't want to. I don't really think he was trying to be manipulative. I think that when you are in love with somebody, you are trying your hardest to show that love, to prove that love, and let that person know, like, yes, baby, I'm down for you. You know what I mean? I think that it was something he was open to. And then he grew and changed his mind. And I don't think it's anything wrong with changing your mind, especially, like I said, growth produces change. So people change their minds, change who they are, change their mindset, change the way they move all the time. Tracy says he knew what she was like, and the marriage is based off of the idea of being an open marriage. Robert says, nah, Ashlee sounds like he lied and hoped that she would change, but she didn't. Which could be a thing. Hey, Naisha, I'm with you. I respect her honesty. Let me see. Rebel says if he leaves her, he's selfish. Now, I don't think that's the case. If he leaves her, he's not being selfish. He just needs to be, because let me tell you what would be selfish. Staying with her, knowing that he can't handle it, would be selfish, because it would be a constant battle. It would always be an argument. It would always be a fight. And they would constantly be like bickering and going back and forth with each other all the freaking time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think if he leaves that it makes us selfish, but I think him constantly like getting to this point where he's like, I can't handle this, and I know I can't handle it, and I don't want her doing that, so I'm just gonna keep edging on and getting on her nerves and having these arguments and having these discussions and having these fights about how I want her to change when she has already made it so very clear what she wants. I think that would be selfish. Naisha says, you knew what it was from jump, bro. Tracy says, somebody tried to flip the script. If you try to change her, she may resent you for doing it later. Let me see. Sakina says, that part, open and vulnerable. Now she's a freak. Well, no, Sakina, he said she was a freak before. You know, he said, you know, she got a free spirit. And, you know, it was her freakier side that, you know, really reeled him in anyway. Lee says he's going to wind up with the kids. He's always going to be questioning their paternity. Not worth it. That's a good one right there. Elijah said the relationship is over. Damon says too many people marry people for what they want them to be as opposed to who they actually are. People change, but she is who she is, and told him as much beforehand. I absolutely love that and agree with that. Sakina says, nah, he was trying to keep her, and she thought she would change. He said that in the email. He did. Let me see. Tracy says, to show her you love her, you got to let her be free. Yes, let her be free. Juan says, why get married if it's an open relationship? People get married and people look at marriage as a business all the time. So, and I ain't getting into that, because my marriage is not going to be a business. I mean, we may operate in terms of, you know, mutual like business respect and make business decisions, but mine is not going to be based off of being some damn corporation. Like, it's just not. And to each his own. People have that right to do their marriage the way that they want to. But the problem in this entire situation is one person wants to operate this way, another person wants to operate this way. And I'm telling you right now, if you are going ahead and operating your marriage as a business, when two business partners no longer can agree to certain things, like they go their separate ways. That's the reality of it. All right. I want to know what you guys are thinking. Call in to 513-873-7134. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if he's wrong, if she's wrong, if I'm wrong. It sounds like y'all all agree that he wrong as hell. And some of y'all think that he lied. I mean, he did say that he was hoping that she would change. He did say that. But I do think that sometimes when you're in love with somebody, you try to go above and beyond to show that. Men, women, whoever it may be, it is a real thing that you know takes place, that people will try to you know, just do whatever it is necessary to show that they love somebody. And if that means agreeing to a certain marriage that they just really wasn't into, I mean, you do have to be upfront and honest. You've got to be upfront and honest about what it is that you want and the expectations that you have. Tracy says you have to find someone that is equally yoked. You can't be on two different pages. Or you have to find somebody that respects your page and you respect theirs. You know what I mean? Like, and people come together and form a certain sense of unity that allows you to both get what it is that you're looking for. People ain't the same. Marriages aren't the same. Your marriage ain't gonna look like what you perceive aunt and uncle's marriage is. And that's what I'm saying. Like, people have to be comfortable with the marriage that they choose. Just like people who are in relationships that are not monogamous. You know what I'm saying? So I considered a polyamorous relationship before. And, oh, wait, we've got Elijah on the line. I'm going to let Elijah come through. Elijah, what you think, babe?
Hey, what's up? I'm glad to be a part of the show. I was just chiming in midday lunch, and I'm hearing this craziness. I shouldn't say craziness. Actually a lifestyle that somebody is choosing or not in regards. I just have posing the question on the other end of this. So if marriage, and I'm a married man, has been married for 7 years, but isn't marriage about compromise at some point? So if he loves her enough to at least try to get to the point where he's accepting, even if he didn't go through with it, accepting that she wants a different lifestyle. What about her end of the bargain? She didn't want to change at all. She didn't want to compromise for him. And that's all I wanted to bring up in that regard. Does she really love him if that's the case?
I got you, Elijah. Thank you so much for calling in. So here's the thing. I definitely think that both have to do a give and take here, right? But in terms of his compromise, he could go out and he could try it. You know what I mean? He could try to dibble and dabble into this female, that female, so on and so forth. And then she could go out and she could try it. I think the problem is that they agreed to try and they haven't. So for her, it's like, we didn't even try. So how do you know? I love you. I want to be with you. But you said this was something that we could try and that's something you'd be open to. And here we are 6 months into our marriage and I'm still only having sex with you. And I'm starting to, you know what I mean? I'm telling you, I really respect her honesty, because she could have just went out and started doing it. And then once he found out, she could have hit him with the, well, you said we was going to try. You know what I mean? You said we were going to try. So I definitely understand and respect. Thank you so much, Elijah, for calling in. I definitely understand and respect what it is that you're saying. Compromise does work both ways. But in this situation, I think the problem is that he agreed to something and now he wants to change it without having even tried yet. Let me see. Let me read a couple other comments. Brandy says, why get married if you're not going to be on a monogamous terms? Because some people, like I said before, Brandy, some people look at marriage as a business, rather than letting it be solely based on love, and how a person feels. So to each his own, to each his own. I just want one. That's it. I just want one. I just want the one I got. Kevin says, there's nothing wrong with changing your mind and deciding to want a solid commitment of monogamy is a right as well, isn't it? Yes, absolutely. And that's why I said, if that is something that he knows, like, all right, look, I took this time, I have developed, I have grown, I have changed. I want to be a different person. This person that I am, I don't like. I want to move this way. His behavior is changing. His mindset is changing. His habits are changing. It is okay for him to say, you know what? I love you. 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 But I love me more. And I thought I could do this, but I can't. Just like it's her right to say, I love me more. And while I do love you, I don't think that, I don't think that my inability to explore my sexuality is going to make me be happier with you. So it's probably best that we call it quits. You never know. You never know. So I definitely understand what you're saying with that. Shannon says that's grounds for annulment, bait, and switch. He had her sign a contract under false pretenses. Child, he did. I mean, he changed his mind. But I do understand what y'all saying. I definitely understand what y'all saying. Juan says marriage is hard enough for two committed people, let alone opening Pandora's box. But for some people, it works just well. There's a certain partnership, unity, understanding with people who are in polygamous relationships that it works well for them. And I think that it's just important for you to know who it is you are before you get married. Know who it is that you are before you get married. So then when you start to have those conversations before marriage, you know where you stand and what you want and what you don't want, what you want to deal with, what you don't want to deal with, who you want to be and who you don't want to be. Like, those are important conversations. Sakina says, I don't think she should have to compromise when she was upfront from the beginning about what she wanted. He agreed. He changed his mind. Why is she wrong? Because she didn't. So it's okay if she's miserable and constrained and he isn't. And I touched on that, Sakina girl. I did. I swear I did. Jenna says, I believe he wasn't sure about the marriage, but he didn't want to lose her. So he made the agreement, hoping that she would agree. I feel you on that. She agreed and then found out it was okay for her. And he didn't think she would accept it, but he could. Now that she likes the agreement, he lost the control that he thought he had. That might be a thing, child. That might be a thing. Damon says it doesn't have to be like a business. It may not adhere to everyone else's religious beliefs. It just has to be I think has to be, just has to be what the marriage people agreed on. And I agree with that. So look, I looked into, because obviously I'm not married, not yet, but my shit is coming, y'all. So I looked into, certain conversations that you should have prior to being married. Shout out to Brianna Barber. Sis has a super, I love there are some people that you see on social media and you just automatically get attracted to them. Like, it's just a connection. And I've met her a couple times. And she did a top 5 things that me and my husband talked about before we got married. And I really was in tune with what it was she was talking about. I really liked it. And then I read up on a couple others. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys these. If you want, another caller can call in, agree, disagree, whatever the case may be. Again, the number is 513-873-7134. But let's see. So number 1, she said, talk about how you want to argue and handle overall conflict. I think that is super, super, super dope, because when you are not upset in the heat of the moment, you can take a step back and say, all right, look, like, this is how I handle confrontation. I'll give you an example. The relationship that I am in, he likes to talk things out right then and there, face to face. And I don't. I like to take some time, gather my thoughts, get myself together, and then revisit the conversation a little later on. So it's, having to understand, like, okay, because in the event that I didn't understand that, or that he didn't understand me, it would be like, oh, so you just don't want to talk. You're ignoring me. I'm not ignoring you. I'm taking a minute. I need a second. Or why are you bombarding me? Like, you're not respecting my space. I'm not trying to disrespect your space. I'm just trying to have a conversation. So I definitely think that it's important to talk about how you want to handle arguments and how you want to handle conflicts when you're not in the moment of those arguments and those conflicts, so that each person knows how to be respectful. One of the things that she did touch on, which I touch on all the time, is understanding and knowing the person's love language, because you could be the type of person who your love language needs to be filled with gifts. And if this person is just cuddling you and all of these other things, like, that cannot be a thing. So that person will always feel empty. They will always feel empty on the inside. All right, really quick, we're going to take a break. Kevin, what's going on, babe? Thanks for calling in.
Thanks for being a great part. So this is my detox in the afternoon now, Ashlee. Let me tell you. I take a little time off to listen to your broadcast, and I just marinate in the whole, have a little fun on the radio.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think that a lot of times people get married and they have the expectation that folks gonna stay the same. And I don't know about you, but I know about me that I'm changing every day. And yesterday I was different from how I think, feel, and believe today. Mm-hmm. And people always saying that marriage is hard. But the hard part is that folks do change. They grow. Some people regress. They go through all kinds of changes, midlife crises and whatnot. And so, it's just, I really do think that one of the most important things for folks to realize is that throughout that change, the person that you married, may not be the same person that you see today. But you married them for a reason, and more than likely, it wasn't because they agreed to have an open situation. So I think we should keep that in mind. Did he lie? I mean, it could have been the setup, right? I can't see getting her no other way. It could be that. That's right. True. But it could just be that, he grew and so he was like, hey, I don't mind sharing with anybody. And then he got with her and got married. He was like, oh, wait, I'm going to share you with nobody.
Yep, so, exactly. Yep. Thank you so much, Kevin, for calling in. I appreciate it, baby. I definitely agree on that. And let me say, you touched on something that reminded me of a video that I saw where Will Smith talked about him and Jada Pinkett, and they talked about their marriage. And y'all know that they was the whole reason why we discovered, what's the new term when you got the whole situationship going on? Y'all know what I'm talking about, the new term. But damn, now it's going to be stuck in my head. what is August Alsina and they whole little situationship called? Somebody say it. What was it called? I don't know. It's going to come to me. So anyway, I saw this video and he touched on how, yes, entanglement. Thank you, Nita. Thank you, Nita, girl. So he touched on how they had to get out of this habit and thought process of man and wife, marriage this, marriage that, and transition their marriage into a lifetime partnership, because that lifetime partnership allowed him to take a step back and her to take a step back and respect and recognize that both of them are growing into the people that they were meant to be. And within that partnership, respecting each other enough for that growth, which I thought was so beautiful. Now, I ain't saying that the entanglement itself was beautiful, but I'm just saying, like, the fact that you know that, like you said, the fact that you know that you are changing every single day. Could you imagine being with somebody who never wants you to change, never wants you to grow, never wants you to evolve into your best version of yourself? And so when he talked, child, everybody got to come off the favorites list. Sorry, y'all, that was what the hell happened. Everybody's coming off the favorites list. You know how you got the iPhone, you put your phone on Do Not Disturb, no, she didn't. Go live God at the same time every week. Every single week, I go live at the same time, and folks still want to call during my time in my session. And then of all people, it had to be my mama. I lost my damn train of thought declining that call. Wait till I get off this and I call her every week. Okay, I'm sorry about that, y'all. All right. Anyway, respecting each other enough to be able to evolve and grow into your best version of yourself. So when I think about marriage, I absolutely think about having a lifetime partnership. I want a marriage, yes. A monogamous one, yes. But a lifetime partnership where my partner recognizes, in the words of my good friend KK, that I am the fucking galaxy. And I am going to change, and I am going to evolve, and I am going to grow. One day I'm going to want to wear weave. The next day I'm going to want to rock this. One day I'm going to want braids in my hair, and the next day I may want to shave my shit off. I'll never want to shave my shit off, but I could though. Like I could, and I need for my partner to be okay and to grow and to love and to be engaged in that growth with me. I'm taking everybody instead of trying to judge me or change me. I need that. Oh, Kevin, thank you so much. I appreciate it, baby. I hope that was you that called in. So thank you. All right. So the other thing that Brianna talked about, everybody got to come off the favorites list. That's what the hell happened. Everybody's coming off the favorites list. Like, you know how you got the iPhone, you put your phone on Do Not Disturb because you go live at the same single time every week. In the midst of that, what habits I go live at the same time, and folks still want to call during my time in my session. And then of all people, it had to be my mama. You don't want to pick up and you don't want to take back. So I grew up. Lost my damn train of thought declining that call. A blended family. Wait till I get off this and I call her every week. And that's what my family. I'm sorry about that, y'all. All right. Anyway, respecting each other enough to be able to evolve and grow into your best version of yourself. So when I think about marriage, I absolutely think about it's very possible for everybody involved, all parents involved, lifetime take care and provide for the kids. I want a marriage, yes, involved in their lives, but yes, if the person that you're with is so used to that, and they look at my partner recognizes, then that could cause friction. In the words of my good friend KK, that I am the galaxy, how somebody and I am going to change, and I am going to evolve, and I am going to grow. Finding out how you want to create something. One day I'm going to want to wear weave. The next day I'm going to want to rock this. One day I'm going to want braids in my hair, and the next day I might want to shave my shit off. I'll never want to shave my shit off, but I could though. Like I could, and I need for my partner to be okay and to grow and to love and to be engaged in that growth with me, moms and dads and instead of trying to judge me or change me. You know what I mean? Great grandparents and stuff like that. Oh, Kevin, thank you so much. I appreciate it, baby. I hope that was you that called in. So thank you. Another thing that she touched on was having tough conversations. That Brianna talked about in her video. Something. was,
and I really, really, really liked this one
how, like, having the conversation prior to being married
about
was
how
were
from
you
something
raised?
prior to getting
How
married.
were you raised? And
you are vulnerable
in the midst
enough
of
to
that,
show
what
triggers
habits do you
what
want to pick
triggers
up and apply
what
to your
you've been
family
through,
and your
what you've
marriage?
overcome, how that affected
Versus
you, how it has helped you grow,
what
how it has helped you change,
you
and
do
all
want
of
to
the
pick, you
above.
don't want to pick up and
So
you don't
I
want to take back.
really, really,
So
really liked the video, and you guys can go check her out. She is Redefined Curves on
a blended
Instagram,
family,
and then she's Brianna
stepfather,
Barber
stepsister,
here on Facebook. Very, very
and that's
sweet,
what my family's style looked like.
But yeah, she touched on a lot of important things. And
you know,
again,
somebody
married,
that may have dated me may have wanted like the mom and dad aspect of the home. Well, when mom and dad aren't in the home, it's very possible for everybody involved, all parents involved, to still take care and provide for the kids, and still be very involved in their kids' lives. But
and these are
if the person that you're with is so used to that, and when they look at blended family like it's another issue, then that could cause friction, that could cause some confrontation. So just respecting
us and want to feed into
how
us,
somebody was raised, understanding those differences, and then feeling like, and then finding out how you want to create something. One of the things that I told my boyfriend that I always wanted was to be able to create my own family traditions, my own family legacy, like what it is that I want it to look like. Well, not I per se, but for us. So when it comes to blended family and mixing kids and families in together, you know, moms and dads and aunts and uncles and grandparents and you know what I mean, great grandparents and stuff like that. What does that look like, and how do we want that to go?
I know that's right.
Another thing that she touched on was having tough conversations about how you healed from something. And I really, really, really liked this one because when you have tough conversations about how you have healed from something prior to getting married,
so I'm definitely not the same.
You are vulnerable enough to show what triggers are. What triggers are, even what you've been through, what you've overcome, how that affected you, how it has helped you grow, how it has helped you change, and all of the above.
So these are some of the things that you guys
I really, really, really liked the video. And you guys can go check her out. She is Redefined Curves on Instagram, and then she's Brianna Barber here on Facebook. Very, very sweet, beautiful, dope woman. But yeah, she touched on a lot of important things.
When I tell people
again, I'm not married, not even engaged, not yet, but y'all realize, y'all gave me the man I speak that life up into me, because
but he's not a cheater, and he loves me for me, and he also lives by his vows. I am so glad.
If I missed out on some things, like let me know, because I'm not married. You know what I mean? And these are things that we all have to kind of come to terms with and grow and learn.
Gives me a lot of
not from the people who care about us and want to feed into us and want to pour into us, but from our own experiences and things like that. So again, if you guys got any tips on what to talk about before you get married, before you walk down the aisle, hell, what to even talk about before you even go buy the ring, go ahead and call into 513-873-7134. Cass, baby,
her trust and her vulnerability.
I was waiting on you to come here. Cass says discipline is a big one, to spank or not to spank. Some people don't want to do physical discipline anymore. I'm doing WWE moves on my kids. I know that's right.
Counseling. Even if you choose not to stay in the relationship, go ahead.
Jenna says respect and trust are two most important components in any relationship. Let me see. Danita says, I've been married for 24 years. I got married 3 days before I turned 21. So I'm definitely not the same. Danita at 45 that I was at 21. I know that's right. Even outside of a marriage, people always want to comment on how you discipline your kids. That is very true.
I'm just super
excited. Very true. So these are some of the things that you guys got to talk about, like, and it's important for you to understand and for you to know what it is that you want. Let's see. Angela says, me and my husband had never had cheating issues the 18 years we've been together. When I tell people this, they look at me like I'm crazy, but what they don't realize, y'all gave me the man I asked for. Yes, he has flaws, but he's not a cheater, and he loves me for me. He also lives by his vows. I am so glad. And Angela, baby, after what you shared with us before, I am so glad.
So make sure that you go ahead
on that as well. That makes me so very happy. It gives me a lot of hope.
Or you can always email me,
and I absolutely love that. I love that. I love y'all. So in this particular case, I think that he recognized this ain't it. And I wish he had recognized, I will say, I wish he recognized that before marriage, because for her, she probably thought she had somebody who would respect her enough and her honesty and her trust and her vulnerability enough to be herself, go out, do what it is that she wanted to do, and then still be able to come home. Doesn't sound like that's the case. So I think y'all need to have some serious conversations. And what do I always say? Counseling. Therapy, counseling. Even if you choose not to stay in the relationship, go ahead and get counseling to help you cope with what it is that you guys are going through and experiencing as a whole together or separate. Could happen. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here. I love you so much. Thank you to the gentlemen that called in. Kevin, Elijah, I appreciate you guys. We are going to allow you to call into the sessions more often. I love to hear from y'all on a regular basis. I am just super excited because 2021 is about to be amazing for Ask Ashlee. Y'all hear me? Y'all claiming it with me? Tap and agree. Tap, tap. Tap and agree, baby. Tap and agree. I didn't have a story time for y'all today only because shit, I ain't married yet. So let me get married and I may have a story time regarding the marriage, okay? I love you guys and I will see you all Thursday at 1 p.m. Make sure that you guys are tuning in. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or you need advice yourself, go ahead and hit me up at oneaskashley@gmail.com. And as always, we do have sponsorship opportunities for you guys to put your business on the page. So make sure that you go ahead and inbox myself or Nathan Ivy, or you can always email me again at oneaskashley@gmail.com. I love you, and I will see you Thursday.